Oh, yeah? All right,
Just
cool.
the red light if it turns off.
Beautiful. I appreciate you.
Yeah.
Thank you so
Okay.
much.
Cool. Welcome to the second episode of Ashes' podcast. I'm with my new guest, Jojo.
Jojo, yeah.
Jojo.
Hey, what's going on?
I appreciate you so much for coming by.
Yeah, of course.
So why don't you give us a little bit about who you are?
Yeah, so I'm an artist from the Chicagoland area. I grew up in like the West Burbs, kind of Berwyn Cicero area. You know, went up through there, seen what I seen, and then around like 14, I moved to the LaGrange area, and then that's kind of where I started really making music. We had taken the garage band kind of class in high school freshman year, and that pretty much opened up a whole door of different things that I loved. So yeah.
So they had a class for garage band?
Yeah, it was like a computer class. Pretty much wanted us to like pull audio from it and then upload it into iMovies, you know,
Okay.
yada yada yada. But that opened up a huge door for me once I realized that you can just record anything on there. And as a 14-year-old kid who had YouTube and knew how to do all like that MP3 downloading stuff, it was
Fun as hell.
yeah, it was definitely something.
Alright. So is it like, you said iMovie, so it started off as like you guys were making films and stuff? And then, okay.
Yeah, it was like you know, like make a movie for the class, something along those lines. I don't remember exactly, but yeah.
Awesome. Let me just adjust it. Okay. So you mentioned you started making music a bit when you were in high school. Is that when
Yeah.
you started taking it serious?
No, I didn't necessarily know that. I knew music was what I loved. I didn't know that I could turn it into something more than that until I was like 17 or 18.
Gotcha.
But through like 14 to 17, that's pretty much where I figured out what I do like and what I don't like, and then that gave me a whole bunch of time just to pretty much like study artists, like
That's awesome.
like break down their lyrics, see how they structure their choruses, like just things like that. And then when I started actually making music, like things were just clicking that has never happened before. So I was like, I think I should probably keep going with this.
No, I think that's really important because like I wish schools taught you this, you know, like I wish there was a class that would be like, oh, let's work on song structure, let's work on lyric writing. Even if it's like poetry or something like that, just like learning how to express words properly, and especially in like a song. I feel like that definitely would have, not just for you, but I feel like a lot of students that are looking to pursue music as well, like could definitely help that out.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, at least for me specifically, like learning the traditional ways, not anything that I'm a fan of. And I just think there are different ways we could go about teaching kids certain things, you know.
For sure, yeah. So what made you like want to start doing this? Because like I know you like it, but like is there anything internally that like you had a passion for in terms of this?
Yeah, I mean, ever since I was younger, I knew I wanted to be something that was bigger than myself, if that makes any kind of sense. Like I don't know, I always dreamt big, whether that was being on, you know, TV when I was a little kid, or now that I'm older, you know, now I want to be an artist. I always just wanted to be a part of something big, and I think music not only is that avenue, but, you know, one of my stories that gets like told throughout my whole family is on the way to like kindergarten, my mom had it was one of the Biggie albums. She had it like on CD.
Ready to Die?
Yeah, there you go. It was Ready to Die, and
Big fan.
And she would play it on the way to school, you know, because obviously I don't know the lyrics, you know, I'm little. She doesn't really care. But whenever Big Papa came on, I was 2 years old, bobbing my head, like jamming out. And there's video for it. Like every Christmas comes around, that video comes out. Like it's just so. I think music has always been something that's just been deep within me.
For sure, yeah.
Yeah, I figured I might as well go for it.
Yeah, and I think like at a young age being able to like identify, because I'm sure like when you're bobbing your head you're doing this at the rhythm of the song.
Yeah,
so, like,
absolutely. Yeah,
that's so important to like as a parent being able to pick out, oh, my kid has like a natural talent for this, just off of being able to like identify that for sure. So it sounds like you had a lot of support from your mom on the side. How did your family kind of receive you when you said that you wanted to pursue music?
Yeah, for the most part, they're supportive in their own way. You know what I mean? Like, I come from a very traditional Mexican household, not just household, but whole like family structure. You know, you go to school, you do what you need to do, you get a good job, and you live your life. And I absolutely have no, qualms with that mindset. It's just I know that that's not going to be the best option for me.
Mm-hmm.
School kind of showed me that a long, early way that certain structure is not how I work at all.
Okay.
So yeah, they were supportive, but I can tell sometimes that they don't understand what's going on.
Yeah, no, for sure. Do you feel like rap has helped you in certain aspects of your life in terms of like coping with whatever you're going through or something like that,
Yeah, absolutely. It allows me to feel like my emotions essentially, because I feel like that's kind of an issue with a lot of people our age. We don't necessarily know how to feel our own emotions, so we look at different avenues for that. But with music, it's allowed me to express how I feel and like feel it essentially, like live with it and figure out ways to move on from it, or if it's a good thing, then figure out ways to just amplify it. But yeah, it makes me sit down and think like, okay, I'm feeling like this. Why am I feeling like this? Let's break it down. And that has been its own form of therapy, more than I could even talk about.
Yeah. I think therapy is the biggest point to that, especially in like a traditional Mexican kind of culture where like emotions are such a strong thing to grapple anyways, just based on like how we're raised and stuff like that. No, for sure. I think that has like its own benefits and can definitely help teens especially kind of understand what they're feeling.
Yeah.
So do you feel like, what are you listening to right now, and like how has that kind of influenced what you're writing? Yeah,
right now in my rotation is Bash for the World, coming from Texas. Of course, you got Lil Baby, Lil Durk, from the city. There's also an artist called Redville that I think needs to get a little more attention.
Where's he from?
He's from I think he's from Cali.
Okay.
Yeah, could definitely be wrong on that, but I'm pretty sure he's from Cali. But yeah, for at least with Bash for the World, he has a very Texas punchy 808s, hard hitting bass, and I love that. I that's not even necessarily the route of music that I make, but I love every single aspect of that.
Yeah, I think energy and delivery is so important in terms of writing, and like Texas rappers know how to deliver that very well.
It's crazy, man. Like, you see videos from like his live shows, and it's just like everybody in the crowd knows the song. Like, he doesn't have to say a word. So it's cool, especially because he's not big yet. But yeah, no, definitely it helps me look at music kind of in a different way. Like, even if I know I can't necessarily jump into this like genre or subgenre of rap, it allows me to kind of have a different appreciation for it. Because I don't know, I feel like some subgenres are kind of like at war with each other at times, and it's it doesn't need to be like that.
Yeah. No, oh my God, like the biggest example I could think of is conscious rap versus drill rap.
Yeah, like it doesn't need to be like that.
Yeah.
Like, at the end of the day, we all found this this gift essentially, and we're just trying to capitalize off it. Whether you're doing it over soulful, very conscious-y beats, or whether you're doing it over hard drill beats, like we're all just trying to get somewhere.
Yeah, no, and it's just a matter of like appreciation from all angles, because every subgenre has something to offer, and even if you don't like it, that's important, because you're learning what you don't want to incorporate in your music. Yeah, no, exactly. So what does your writing process look like?
Yeah, my writing process, I think, a little different compared to, maybe not different, but a little more time consuming, because I have yet to really perfect it. But it usually starts with I'll find a beat, or a beat will get sent to me, and I really like it. So I'll just start freestyling over it pretty much. Just trying to find a hook, trying to find something that flows. And then from there, I'll go, and if I pick up anything I like, I just start to write it down. And anything I don't like, I'll just scrap it. Because while I'm freestyling, I'll either have my phone out, or I'll have kind of like my whole setup. And I'll just press record, and I'll just kind of go from there. And yeah, so it's kind of just like figuring out what I don't like, writing that down, and then trying to build off that.
Okay, yeah. And so like, I'm assuming it's gonna vary on what you're feeling that day as well, going back to the emotions that we were talking about.
Yeah, like if I'm making more of like a lovey-dovey type song, I feel like is gonna come a lot more naturally than, you know, trying to make some kind of like club banger or something like that, you know? Yeah,
it's so interesting how like whenever like a lovey-dovey song comes out, like I feel like the writing process for that can be more natural and more easygoing than like anything else, because I feel like, not to get corny or anything, right, but like that love emotion is so universal, I feel like.
Yeah, it's a language everybody speaks, like even, you know, like for me personally, like I don't speak Spanish, but especially as of recently, I've just kind of fallen in love with like reggaeton and just like more Spanish music, more Latin music. And I don't know what they're saying half the time, but their delivery and just the atmosphere built around the song, you just have a feel, you just kind of know what they're talking about.
Right.
And yeah, the fact that music can do that to me is like, to me at least, that's crazy.
So just because like you were mentioning this the other day when you asked me about Peso Pluma.
Yeah.
So how does that, what do you appreciate from him? This is completely off topic, but like I'm curious.
I think it's just because it's such a different sound than I'm used to, you know, because again, like I really didn't start listening to Latin music until recently. It's such a different sound, and he's kind of turned a genre that I grew up disliking into one of my favorite genres. Yeah. Which that's awesome. Not only that, like I guess the different cadences too, that to get more technical with it, like there's certain cadences he uses that are just like pin perfect, and I'm just like, wow. Like if you replace this cadence with like a guitar or some kind of strings in the background, like it would, his voice is essentially being used as an instrument. Yeah. And that's just crazy. That's so cool.
I think he has a very unique style. Like sometimes I'll be listening to him in the car and then my girlfriend will be like, oh, this sounds like Peso Pluma. Yeah. And he starts singing and she's like, oh, I had no idea that was him, but you just know off the instrumentation. Yeah. So he has his own unique sound, and I appreciate that a lot.
No, for sure. It's yeah, no, that's awesome. Especially since he's from, you know, since I'm Mexican, you know, he's from Mexico and he's being blown up into this huge superstar. It's awesome to see.
Yeah, it's always great to see like just Chicago rappers, for example, like feeling that sort of connection from like your hometown or from like your race or whatever, like seeing them blow up, and it's like kind of like an honor because it's like, you know, he represents me.
Yeah, and like especially for me, my mom had come over to America when she was about like 10, and so she talks about, you know, her hometown very fondly and has very vivid memories of it, and just to see that he's from a place not too far either is just crazy. Yeah.
Going a little off topic, we were joking about the sassy apocalypse. No, I wanted to ask, and you don't have to answer this by any means, but you said you were 100% on board with.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
So like, how does 100% on board with like being the sassy part of it, not like against it? Yeah. So how is this side of you kind of translated into your music? Because I would assume this is like a more soft side, more emotional, and more like
it's
contrary to masculinity.
Yeah, I think, you know, all jokes aside from the sassy apocalypse, because it's honestly it's just so fun to say, and but anyway, I think allowing men to know that they can feel their emotions and that they're valid is so important nowadays more than ever. And I usually say like, oh, not just men, but everybody, but like, you know, men's mental health, I feel like, has taken a back seat for way too long. And just to be able to go on about my day and not really have to worry about like, are my emotions in check? You know, you know, do I need to feel this type of way so that the people around me can be comfortable? It's like, no, I'm gonna feel the way I need to feel, and if you have an issue with that, that's not my problem.
For sure.
Yeah.
I think that's really important, and definitely important to like encourage in like teenagers as well.
Yeah.
Again, going back to like the music and stuff, like that, I think that's why it's so important to be able to express emotions. And there's personally, I don't think any other better way to do that than rap.
Yeah.
Because it's so efficient. You know, if we're getting like technical on it, like saying the most amount of words per song, getting the point across as quick as you can, and the aggression, the cadence, as you were saying, the power that it has, it's like you can express exactly how you want, because rap is so focused on vocabulary. So it allows, if you're like a skillful artist, a skillful rapper, like you know what words to pick.
Yeah.
It's very articulate, I feel like.
Yeah, it's definitely crazy, especially during my own writing processes. Like I'll find like certain words just don't fit. You know what I mean? Like you'll be writing, and it's just like this idea or maybe this bar like fits really well in the structure, but like pronunciation wise, it just doesn't fit in there. And then so just having I guess the vernacular to be a really good rapper is just super important.
For sure, yeah. So going back to like the comfort in masculinity part, how is that kind of received by your peers in like the Mexican community? Like, again, like just because historically, like I know we can tend to be very toxically masculine.
Yeah. At least for me, it's been, and I understand my situation's a little different from everybody else's, but at least for me, it's been nothing but positive. You know,
that's awesome.
That's also to say that I'm not just like walking around everywhere with an attitude. You know what I mean? Like I don't want that misconception. Like, it's just like if I'm feeling something or if somebody made me feel some kind of way, they're gonna know. You know, and again, if there's an issue beyond that, then that's no longer my issue. Respect.
I think like respect is so important in that. Like it's all about respect, just being able to understand where people are coming from and stuff.
Yeah. Especially, I don't know. Like I feel like at times I'm a very patient person. So especially when I feel like that's being taken, you know, a little bit for granted, that's when I really push out the sassy, and I'm just like, push out the sassy.
I guess that kind of leads to my next point that I was going to ask, is that like rap is seen as, you know, violent, dangerous. It could promote certain things. I've been listening to rap my whole life. I'm sure you have as well.
Yeah.
You're not a violent person.
No.
So what do you have to say to people that have that kind of like misconception or that kind of belief behind it?
You know, when people do make that argument, I can tell it comes from a place of ignorance. Just because like let's dissect it, right? If you're looking at drill music and they want to say that it's harmful, it's this or it's that, it's like these kids, because they really are like 15, 16, they're super young, man. It's like these kids are really just trying to make a better situation out of what they have. Granted, it comes at, you know, maybe some questionable Instagram posts or song lyrics, but at the end of the day, they're rapping about what's around them. It's not like they have the choice to just be like, all right, you know what, you're right, I'm not gonna, you know. It's like, no, that's what their environment is, you know. That's where their home is, you know. That's what they know. And not that it makes them violent by any means, but it's just like they have to have an avenue somewhere, you know, or else it does come off as, you know, it comes out in different ways that it's different for everybody. But just I would say it's not a fair perspective at all. For sure. Like, I think Ice Cube said it best as well. I kind of brought this up in my last interview, but just that, like, if they're journalists at the end of the day, they're just reporting what they see in their everyday life, and like, which is good on one hand because you're bringing light to these injustices or these harsh conditions that people are living through every day. You know, it's really important to be able to identify them and address them in the most efficient way possible. Yeah, and you know, like I said, like a lot of times when people make that argument or, you know, they make that statement, it's coming from a place of they can just get up and leave, you know, like these aren't people that are, you know, from these areas that are making that statement, you know, it's people on the outside who think they can have that perspective, but it's just like they're journalists, they're reporting on what's going on, you know.
Yeah, for sure. No, I care a lot about that, to be honest, because I see rap as like a safer way of expressing yourself as well, and like, you know, just being able to like communicate the way you're feeling, and especially towards one another as well. Like, say like a harmful rap battle, for example, like I'd rather have kids doing that than like resorting to violence, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. Like, I don't know, there's just so many different things that rap can feed into that would just be helpful, you know, especially to the younger, you know, population. Yeah, because I don't know, I feel like as an artist, or when I get to a certain level, like you kind of do have a level of responsibility. That's like, do you need to be this perfect role model? No, but you also do want to show these kids a different side. Individuality is so important, especially when you're writing music. You have to be yourself one way or another. But at the same time, you know, don't do something that like you wouldn't want your kids doing, for example. Setting that example for them is really important, because mentorship is so vital, and especially when like I know in like my culture, for example, where, you know, families with fatherless figures tend to be there, so like it's up to the actual, like, to the men that have that kind of ability to set that example. We should be the ones doing that. Absolutely. That's exactly what I was trying to say. But like, just it all boils down to when you know better, you should do better. Because there's some people who don't, you know, and there's nothing wrong with that, but you know.
I absolutely too. There's nothing wrong with not knowing better too. It's just a matter of like learning from the people who do. Yeah. No, for sure. So what kind of advice do you have for people that are aspiring to like pursue a career in rap, who want to like get into making music and stuff?
I would say just go for it. Like, as I guess as cliche as that sounds, like you can never have the same day twice. Like, you never know what could happen tomorrow. Like, not to say that in a negative light, but just like situations change, people change. Like, if you have the ability to do it now, do it now, because I promise you will not regret it. At the end of the day, like, the worst that can come out of it is you just figure out you don't like making music, because I've seen that happen. Like, there are kids who I've grew up with who loved music, who did the same things I did, but when they sat and tried to record something or try to write something down, they just didn't have the love for it anymore. And if that happens, that's completely okay too. At least you know what you don't like now. But I would say just go for it. And if you're worried about public opinion, man, like, don't be. At the end of the day, everybody's gonna have an opinion, and yours should be the only one that matters.
I like that a lot.
Because at the end of the day, they don't have to walk in your shoes, they don't have to sleep in your bed. You do. And as long as you do that comfortably, then that's the end of that.
For sure. I think like being constant with it is really important too. You kind of hinted at that, of like just going for it, and if you do like it, just keep going at it, so you can kind of figure out what you like and what you don't like about it too.
And even in them, this has been a journey, like, to say the very least. And I'm still very, very like young into it, or not young, but just like very in the beginning of it still. But even then, like the encounters I've made because of making music, and the people I've met because of making music, I wouldn't change for the world. Like, it's been a complete journey that I can't wait to keep taking. That's kind of the way I look at it. Like, it's not, you know, this isn't something that's just gonna go away, you know. Like, even if let's say I were to ever stop making music, like, my love for it would never change. Like, like, I just feel making music is an adventure that if you love it, then you should definitely go on it, because it's fire.
No, for sure. And I think I can speak for all the viewers as well when I say that we're excited to see your career take off and
I appreciate that, man. Thank you.
I'm excited for you.
Yeah, man, me too. I'm excited to see where we take this, man. 2023 is almost up, so 2024 we here.
Yeah.
We here.
Do you want to promote anything?
Yeah, if you guys want to go check me out on Instagram, it's Jojo_Madrano18_. All my links are over there. Show some love. Yeah, I'd appreciate it.
We'll definitely drop the links in the description as well.
Bet.
Well, that's all the questions I have for you. I really appreciate you coming on, Jojo.
Yeah, no, man, thank you for taking the time, man. It's a huge honor, like for us. Where
No, I appreciate it. I don't really know how to end this.
that's cool.
Cool. Well, thank you guys for watching. I appreciate it. Tune in for the next one.
See ya.